as we work with organizations to design and deliver impactful leadership development programs specifically tailored to the client's needs. The trends we've been recognizing working with leaders, specifically with leaders who are transitioning from one level to the next, is the challenge they face around growing their influence. In particular, the challenge tends to be that they have too narrow a view. They've mastered their world, but as they step to the new level, they need to learn to look at things in a new way. Think of the saying, what got you here won't get you there. You see, typically the leaders, they've figured out how to interact with their manager and influence their manager. They've understood how to impact and influence their team. But as they grow, they need to move beyond that. So at this stage in their leadership, you think of this Stephen Covey's circle of influence, circle of concern. They're performing well at this level, but their circle of influence is still relatively small as they've stepped up to that new level of leadership. So that being the case, what's a transitioning leader to do to grow their influence? Well, you saw earlier we have the manager versus team dimension that's often well mastered. We're finding that the clients really need to be looking at broadening their perspective and how they influence more effectively at a raised level of leadership. So thinking about how they influence their peers more effectively, how they influence across business units, not just focusing on their own silo that they might be familiar with, but thinking more broadly across the organization. Outside the organization, who are the client groups that are relevant where they need to be having relationships and having a say? And also, how do they need to be influencing external bodies as might be relevant for their particular organization and situation? One of the ways that we often suggest when we're working with clients is for them to draw a stakeholder map. Sounds very simple, and of course an initial stakeholder map would represent their existing mindset of the situation. And so it's useful to start at that point, but then take it to a trusted advisor to test that. Who might that be? It might be a trusted peer. It could be your manager. It could be a mentor. Somebody who's able to sort of poke some holes in your thinking and helping you enlarge your mindset of the situation so you have more of a holistic picture. And once you've done that, you're then able to select where you want to be spending your efforts. So here's a few simple tips that can assist you to work after you've drawn the stakeholder map. First of all, being proactive. You've now identified the people you want to influence. How do you want to go about doing it? And then starting to do that, so be proactive. Reaching out to them and sharing a view on a particular situation, engaging in some dialogue. Looking for small opportunities, even small opportunities to have a voice. It doesn't have to be a big thing, you can start small. And using all of these to build relationships, because we know that building relationships is a great way to grow your influence. When we think about results, the leaders of these leaders tell us that when they've been working on this over a number of months, committed effort, that they are seeing the results, an increased circle of influence where people have focused and worked with their network and increased their influence and increased the network that they have. So here's a few tips that we're seeing from clients that's working for them in terms of growing their influence, and certainly can also work for you as well.